to you by Kelloggs. Kelloggs cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now, from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I've waited 28 years to say these words. On my left is a girl who opens up tomorrow night at the Elitch's Theater in concert in Denver, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now a gentleman who is the darling of the panel. But when he isn't doing that, he is the publisher for Random House. And he's the best that there is. The president of Random House, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Very good news for you tonight. Our panel moderator tonight is as hot as a pistol. But so, of course, are all the rest of us. It's about 94 degrees outside. And here he is, sweltering John Daly.
Bennett's absolutely right. New York is almost, I repeat, almost unbearable today. We've been in the 90s. I'd like to be out in the Great Divide in Montana tonight. And might I say, Mr. Ingels, it's nice to see you on our panel, and welcome to What's My Line, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
I hope you enjoy the next half hour. We do have, I think, a particularly interesting group to challenge you this evening, so get ready for a rather rough time, but we hope an enjoyable time. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after this word. And now to meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Irene. McGillicuddy. Irene McGillicuddy. Is it Miss or Mrs. McGillicuddy? Mrs. McGillicuddy, and where are you from, ma'am?
Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Toronto, Ontario, Canada. How nice to have one of our neighbors in North America with us. Mrs. McGillicuddy, may I present the panel? And now would you join me over here? And we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. McGillicuddy is self-employed and deals in a service. And we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mrs. McGillicuddy, would I come to you for your service?
You could, yes.
Do you work indoors?
Yes.
If I had your service, would I have the service delivered to my home? Is it something that would be done in my home?
Could be. Mm-hmm.
Is it a service that pertains to human beings?
Yes.
As opposed to animals, I mean. Yes?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with decoration in any way, Mrs. McGillicuddy?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. McGillicuddy, I want to eliminate a few things. In the first place, I presume you're no relation of the great Connie Mack, who used to manage the Philadelphia Athletics. May I eliminate that relationship? His name was McGillicuddy, you know.
Yes. He was related.
Secondly, Miss Kilgallen and I were both up at Toronto this week doing a television show. Did our paths in any way cross yours while we were in Toronto?
Well, actually, both Dorothy and Bennett were in Canada this week doing one of your television programs, but you didn't cross their paths while they were up there, did you?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. McGillicuddy, do you work with your hands?
Yes.
Do you work on something solid rather than liquid?
Just a minute, I must have a small we would like to review the question again. Do you work on something solid?
As opposed to liquid.
As opposed to liquid. Well, having given it due thought, we will agree that you do work on something solid as opposed to liquid, yes.
Is it, however, malleable?
Is it malleable? Well, that is a very interesting question. I would guess that we would have to say we would expect it to be malleable, wouldn't we?
Is it alive?
Well, I guess we'd have to say we would expect it to be, wouldn't we?
Well, is it ever a human being?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, do you touch human beings for some reason?
Yes.
Are you a masseuse?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Ingels.
What's malleable?
Funny.
Oh, yes, mushy. Oh, yeah, well. For whatever it is that you, is it for improvement of any kind? For the improvement of the human being that you do touch?
Yes.
It is for improvement. Is it for some kind of grooming improvement?
Grooming? Grooming improvement. No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
When you touch the human being, do you touch him or her above the waist?
Yes.
Do you touch the person in the realm of the head?
Not exclusively.
Could. Let's put it that way. Would that be a fair answer, Mrs.
Yes,
Gibbons?
could.
Is it possible that you have anything to do with the medicine or the medical profession?
No.
I, with Mrs. McGillicuddy's permission, since I consider the question to have been asked very broadly, I'll give you a qualified yes on that, if that's all right with you? Because the area is so broad. Mm-hmm.
Well, I therefore rule out that Mrs. McGillicuddy is a nurse of any kind. She is not that.
That's right.
Does Mrs. McGillicuddy, do you use any instruments in your work?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. McGillicuddy, when you are performing your valuable services, is the person who is being subjected to said services sitting down or possibly lying down? Either of the two?
One of the two.
Lying down? The person is lying down?
Yes.
But you are not a masseuse. We've established that.
That's right.
Is the person wearing something other than their ordinary day clothes when they're lying down while you're performing a service?
Listen, we have to have a copy. Now, your question, if you would repeat it, Mr. Cerf.
Well, I was wondering whether the people who were receiving your services might be in a state approximating nudity.
No. That's not necessary, to use Mrs. McGillicuddy's term.
But
no.
I had said, wearing something other than ordinary.
Well, on the
clothes.
basis of wearing something other than ordinary streetwear, we would say yes.
Yes. Now, let's see. If you're not a masseuse, and you have nothing to do with the medical services.
No.
That doesn't leave much.
Well, now, actually, what we did do on the medical question was agree that it was asked in the broadest possible term of reference and gave a qualified yes.
Do you do anything that improves either the weight or the muscles of the people that you are treating?
Well, you can't. You've separated those two.
Either one.
Two questions, yes.
Yeah, either one.
Give me
yes.
One of the two.
Either one.
Would it be weight rather than muscles?
No.
No, that's good going, Bennett. That's 6 down, 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Would it be muscles rather than weight?
Yes.
So you touch them and you improve their muscles. Do you relax them in some way?
Yes.
Well, then you touch more than just 1 or 2 muscles. You touch a lot of muscles, don't you?
Yes.
Can.
Do you need special training for this?
Yes.
Are you a chiropractor?
Yes. The first thing we do is pass all those over. Now, you see, the problem in the particular area in which Mrs. McGillicuddy has been practicing in chiropractic practice since, what is it, 1919, and she's a very young and glorious 77 years old. They do not call chiropractors doctors, so this left us in a rather ambivalent position with respect to the question.
They do in several states, John.
Oh, yes, and this is an optional thing on states. But I said to Mrs. McGillicuddy, do they call you doctor? And she said, no, Grandma. Well, this is a wonderful visit that we've had, and I hope you enjoyed coming to see us. It was nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now to meet another challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Karen Epperson, is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Epperson? Mrs. Mrs. Epperson, and where are you from?
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Very nice to have you with us. You have a friend in the house. I heard somebody start up there. Mrs. Epperson, may I present the panel?
Hello.
And now would you join me over here, and we'll let the audience know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Epperson is self-employed and deals in a product. And we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mrs. Epperson, is this a product that people on the panel might avail themselves of?
Yes.
In fact, I'd like to see you do it.
Would it be used in equal shares by men and women? Some kind of equality?
That's a difficult question, Bennett. I would say that usage and custom now would tend to change that picture almost on an annual basis. And
Yes.
I would just tell you both use it, but I don't think you want us to really make a hard decision on whether they are used, the product is used equally by both sexes. Do you? Because if you want us to make a hard decision, we will.
Well, let it go, John. I wouldn't want to displease you. Mrs. Epperson, is this product used in any sense, way, or manner with any kind of animal?
Any kind of animal?
Yeah.
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Epperson, is this found in the home?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Ingels.
Is it found in some area that is outside rather than the home?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Might I carry it? Might I hold it in my hand?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Benson.
Would this product be found on or near water?
No.
On or near water, we would have to agree that in one of those designations, it's possible that you might find it on or near water.
Well, then it might be found near water if it isn't found on water. Is that possible?
Yes.
Is it a large product? By that I mean, is it a product closer to the size of a human being than it is to the size of a bread box?
Yes.
Is it a product that is it a product that moves around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Is it best to be associated with it when it's moving around?
Well, when it's moving around, and if you want to have anything to do with it, why...
It is a product that has never been alive.
Yes.
Is it a product that has wheels?
Yes.
Is it used for transportation?
Yes.
Does it transport a person from one place to another place?
Yes.
On the ground?
Yes.
Is it more like a bicycle or a motorcycle than it would be a car?
Yes.
Is it a boat? A bicycle
Is it a
or
motorcycle?
motorcycle?
What? A motorcycle? A what, dear?
Is it a bicycle or a motorcycle or in that two-wheel category?
Yes.
Where am I, John?
You're doing just great, Charles. You're doing just great. And you're getting no help from anybody, and I know it. I think the audience is wonderful. They haven't cracked a smile yet.
Come on! Do you do something with motorcycles? I've got the wrong thing, I'll bet.
Yes.
You're a motorcycle racer.
Motorcycle what?
I don't know what she is. She rides on the handlebars.
She rides...
No.
No, 4 out of 6 to go, Bennett.
Now, Mrs. Emerson, you have something more to do with the riding of a motorcycle than the manufacture of it. Is that correct?
More to do with the riding than the manufacturer?
She's a tester.
Do you do something on the motorcycle after it has been completed?
That makes it 5 down and 5
She's not a
makes.
motorcycle cop. You can tell what.
She makes Kilgallen.
Do you sell?
Yes. Actually, Mrs. Emerson and her good spouse are known as Honda of Dayton. It's
Oh,
the
of
Honda
course.
Honda motorcycle, the Japanese
The
product.
only motorcycle that's worth anything.
That's right.
And
There'll be one at my door in the morning.
You'll also
Be a
hear from
few
a
other
couple of
things
other
that you do.
motorcycle man.
well, I must say that was good fun. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for being our guest on What's My Line. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which the panel, as you all know, is always blindfolded. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, John.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery guest, we use a different form of questioning, one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night. That applause. Are you a curvaceous movie actress?
You did say curvaceous movie actress, did you not?
That's what I said.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Ingels.
Are you a curvaceous movie actor?
Well, I really don't know.
And I think that's about the only way we can answer that question. Miss Francis?
Would you be considered a leading man?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever been a member of this panel?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have we established that he's a movie actor but not a leading man?
No, nothing has been necessarily established in that field.
Well, I thought Arlene got a no on leading man.
Well, yes, on the leading man, but I thought with reference to the movie department.
Oh, I see. Are you primarily known for your work in television or on the stage rather than movies?
Yes.
Mr. Ingels?
Are you a vocalist?
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Since you're playing it so straight, are you really a comedian?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
When you say you're a vocalist, does that mean you do more talking than singing?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Do you have a regular program of your own on television, weekly?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Ingels.
Are you currently playing in a movie that is in town?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
I misunderstood. Did Dorothy ask if our guest had a
He's
program of his own?
Currently appearing in a television program of his own, yes.
Of his own. Well, are you then not a performer who has a show of his own, but are you like the second banana on a show in television?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Cerf?
Would that show be one that involves either commentary or some kind of a panel show?
No.
That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, would it be a nighttime variety show?
Yes.
Mr. Ingels?
You're the second banana. Well, what's the first banana? Is the first banana a comedian also?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
He is.
What second bananas are there? Art Carney. You're not Art Carney?
No.
Yes, yes, you are not Art Carney. Art Carney, no, Mr. Cerf.
Now, it's my turn now?
Yeah.
Is this a show that appears after 8 p.m.?
No.
That makes it 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I pass. I don't know these
Mr.
second
Ingels?
bananas.
Are you, Crazy Guggenheim?
Yeah. Hereinafter to be known as Frank Fontaine.
Yes.
Crazy
Well, the first
Guggenheim.
banana was correct. To Jackie Gleason.
That's right.
Yeah. Actually, I thought that you were... In fact, I thought you all were on the track. I think you were. You were just trying to nail it down.
Well, anyway, Frank Fontaine is wonderful, and the audience was right applauding you.
Positively. You know...
As far as I'm concerned, he's the first banana.
He's the whole bunch.
And on the Jackie Gleason program, I think respected and admired and loved by all who were on it.
Yeah,
as
do
one
a
of the
shtickle
greatest.
for us.
Just for a second.
Everybody says I look like Rock Hudson.
You know, one thing that pleases me, this is Father's Day. And, well, I guess I suppose everybody knows it, Frank, so I'm not embarrassing you or in any way invading your privacy. But here is the glorious father of all time, 11 fine youngsters. And he gets his father's present tomorrow. You're going to be in the Royal Box at the Americana beginning tomorrow.
Tomorrow night they open at the Royal Box at the Americana for 3 weeks, and I believe the family will be coming in to catch a few shows if we can get a couple of big buses together.
Well, that's what I was getting. And I read in the paper that on your opening night, all of the family that can be will be present, and that leaves you've got one boy in service?
I have one boy in the Marines, Bobby.
Yeah, well, I hope all the rest are there. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you, John.
On Father's Day. Glad to see you. Panel, I must admit that you've done rather well tonight, so congratulations are herewith tendered to one and all, and we'll be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. Mr. Ingels, it was nice to have you with us, and hope we see you back again very soon. Good night, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Marty. Come again.
Thank you. And good night, Arlene.
Good night, dear boy. Look out, Denver. Here I come. Good night, Bennett.
John, I must say, in many ways, you are my favorite banana. Good night.
Thanks very much. Every once in a while, you know, it really comes through. Bennett and I are very fond of one another. Thanks to all of you for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Cotton. Johnny Olson reminding you, millions of acres of forest and grassland burn because someone did not take care. Only you can prevent forest and grassland fires.